To me, academic conversation is building comprehension and building understanding.
I disagree with you, Louise.
It's purposeful, it's planned, and it's an opportunity for children and to be sharing their thinking.
The boat broke in half.
Academic conversation is the greatest goal for me in my classroom. It's genuine dialogue around the content that we're learning or the thinking that we're doing. It has to be a dialogue. It has to be truly listening to each other and building off each other's understanding, elaborating, thinking about why you think that way, what's the justification for your reasoning.
And I'm thinking this is a poem?
Oftentimes, whether it's whole group or small group, when I'm listening to them speak, I'm listening for the things that they do understand so that I can build on that understanding, and I'm looking for the things that they haven't quite gotten, a misconception they have or a misunderstanding in the text, so that we can figure out how to build it in the right direction. And I'm also listening, I hope, to how well they're listening to each other and are they gaining from each other's understanding. The most purposeful talk is going to happen when they're truly genuinely hearing each other and co-constructing an understanding. And so I think that one of the things that I'm always trying to listen for is both, is the conversation really focused on what we're doing? Is it really focused around this text or focused around this question? And then, is it truly a dialogue?
Because of the skin color. Yeah, and the bus driver.
You disagree with him now?
Could I help him?
Can you say why?
So in the beginning of the year, it's intentional to have the children really talk about what it is they're noticing, not only about print, but also about what it is that they're learning and what it is that they're thinking.
I think I agree with you because it's not because that's stress.
What are you thinking about how these other characters are treating this mouse?
Maybe his feelings were kind of down, but he just helped anyways.
So across those opportunities within the classroom, I'm constantly trying to allow for those opportunities for children to share what it is that they're noticing and then talking about it, going from what it is that they notice and then teaching from that.
The mouse is too little, but he can still try to pull.
I'm lucky to have about 20 kids in my class, which is delightful. 19 of them speak Spanish at home and speak Spanish fluently. 2 of them are brand new to the country this year, and that becomes a challenge when we think about talk. Sometimes they will speak Spanish with a friend about what we're doing. Sometimes they'll do far more listening than talking, which is okay. They're taking it in all the time. I'm amazed by it. Part of that comes out of building a community at the beginning of the year and figuring out how to make ourselves comfortable enough to take risks together. And that's true no matter how old the children are, no matter how many of them there are, no matter what your group is.
I think that we do a disservice when we say that a child, because they're an ESOL or a second language learner, is that they can't do something. We have to start with what they can do. I've learned an awful lot more about some of my second language learners by giving them that time to just talk with one another and me listen in on what it is that they're saying. And oftentimes I learn more about them by me not even being in the mix and just having the discerning ear as I'm working with another group. What are you thinking about the end of this story? Giving the ownership to the children within our conversation circle or even within small groups is really important so that the children aren't looking to me for a right answer. I want them to look at each other to have this conversation, and it doesn't have to be a right answer. It's their thinking that they're cultivating. So oftentimes when we first started at the beginning of the year, I would say, we're going to have this conversation and I'm going to let you talk to each other and we're not going to have to raise hands, and that just blows their minds that they don't have to raise a hand to talk. We talk about how we have to take turns and wait till someone is done speaking. Just turning my gaze down often within the circle so that they're not looking at me. And I'll say, talk to the group or look at one another. It might look like this, and I'll demonstrate it. I think something that's very powerful is that noticing and naming. So at the end of our conversation, I will stop and I'll say, so today I noticed during our conversation that Josue, you really were listening to Bianca today because your eyes were on her, and then after she made a comment, you built right on top of what she was saying.
I'm thinking about this book when
I, as the teacher, see how much the students can do with discourse, how much they can talk about their own thinking, how much they can build on each other's own thinking, how much together conversation helps us grow as learners.
When every day I see a star up
Then
in the
it
sky,
pushes me to ask more open-ended questions during science or social studies, to throw out ideas in math for us to struggle with and talk about in ways that I probably wouldn't have done before.
What are you thinking now, Gustavo?
I think
It's
the mouse
amazing
helped because
what children can do if we allow them those opportunities to have those conversations. However, it's not just let there be conversation and let kids talk. There's a lot of purposeful shifts and moves within instruction. If we allow that talk, it kind of takes away that secret of what is their understanding. When we stop, sit back and listen, there is no secret to what it is the children are learning or what it is that they're understanding.
Kiss your brains. Mwah! Great reading today.